The U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Constitution. The Constitution of the United States of America. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Article 1, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. So the legislative power, Article 1, are the powers of the legislature. Article 2, powers of the executive, i.e. president. And Article 3, powers of the judiciary, i.e. the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court, the presidency, let's start out with Congress. And you got to ask yourself, why would they make Congress Article 1? Because Congress represents the people, and the people have the power, or at least so we are told. So, Section 1, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in the Congress of the U.S., which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Reps. Section 2, the House of Reps shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors. Every 2 years, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years, and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. So, you gotta live there. You have to at least be a citizen of America for 7 years. And you got to be 25 years of age if you want to be a U.S. representative. If you want to be a U.S. representative, that's all you need. That's all you need. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states. This was changed by Section 2 of the 14th Amendment. Should we read this? Yes. Because this is what we do with the U.S. Constitution. We don't strike anything out. We don't delete anything. We just keep on. That's how free speech should work. We don't censor anything in the Constitution. We just kind of keep writing on top of it, or we just kind of tack more amendments on to the end. So this used to be the law. This is no longer the law right now, but it's a part of the Constitution. Why don't we delete that, But anyways, since it's there, it's historic, right? Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states, which may be included within this union according to the respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indians not taxed 3/5 of all other persons. What? 3/5 of all other persons, excluding Indians? What? It got racist there at the end. No wonder they cut that out. And then how does Section 2 of the 14th Amendment, I like the 14th Amendment, so I might trust that a little bit. Okay, the actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall by law direct. The number of representatives shall not exceed 1 for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least 1 representative, and until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence Plantations 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. And Georgia 3. When vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. So there you go. What happens with the representation in any state? U.S. Rep, Senate, they're no longer there. They resigned. They quit. They got ran over by a stampede of goats. The executive authority, probably with the state too, right? because we just had that one guy die in the House of Reps. So the executive authority issues writs of election. He's probably going to win the election, so then they're going to give it to the Republicans to fill the vacancy after the election. The House of Representatives, that's McKean, not Lean, McKean. The House of Representatives shall choose their speaker and other officers, and shall have the sole power of impeachment. Who can impeach the House of Reps? Who picks the speaker? Why is Pelosi in charge of the House of Reps? Because the House of Reps wanted that to be so. And the House of Reps choose the other officers in addition to speaker. Section 3. I like that Adam Frisch. He's not going to vote for Nancy Pelosi. That's a good, man, that's smart. Adam Frisch is smart. He's running a good ass campaign. I think he might fucking do it. I think he should. I mean, God, a return to normalcy. He just goes out to a restaurant and eats a burger and it's like, oh, there wasn't any insanity. I like that better than Boebert. Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. So Senator Herschel Walker is going to be in there for 6 years. Senator Mitch McConnell, he's going to be in there for 166 years is how. And each senator shall have 1 vote. Immediately after they shall be assembled in consequence of the first election, they shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the 2nd year, of the 2nd class at the expiration of the 4th year, the 3rd class at the expiration of the 6th year. So that one third of the House of Representatives may be chosen every 2nd year. Oh, that's why. And if vacancies happen by resignation or otherwise during the recess of the legislature of any state, the executive thereof may make temporary appointments until the next meeting of the legislature, which shall then fill such vacancies. That was changed by the 17th Amendment. I'm sorry. That was that last part of that last sentence where I said, and if vacancies happen by resignation, ... all the way. That's all been cut out. It's still there. Because just like 19th Amendment, 21st, right, you ban alcohol, but you can't just scratch that out. You got to say, okay, alcohol's back with the 21st Amendment. You just got to keep on tacking on. You just got to keep adding on. Just keep on adding on. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years. So you got to be 25 in order to be the U.S. representative, and you got to be 30 years of age if you want to be the senator. And if you want to be president, 35. So that means I could be president. Man, one day when I'm a real boy, I'm going to be the president. When you rather be the king, you can just say, I'm the king, and then everybody just bows down. No. I'd rather convince everybody, and then everybody shit on me and tell me I'm doing a terrible job for the next 4 years. That's what I want. That's a better system. 30 years senator, been 9 years a citizen of the U.S., and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. Who shall not? Why do you say it that way? The vice president of the U.S., so you got to live in the state that you're representing. No shit. And you have to at least been a citizen for the U.S. So in a way, it seems like you could run for Senate and the House of Reps in any district, in any state whatsoever, as long as you move there. As long as you move there, you can run for it. And, you know, you're a citizen of America. You're 30 years old. You're a citizen of America. You're 25. You can be the senator of any state or the congressman of any state. Isn't that nice? The vice president of the United States shall be the president of the Senate. But that fucking dickhole shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. Again, the vice president of the United States of America shall be the president of the Senate. The Senate, there's 100 people in the Senate. When they tie 50-50, then Kamala breaks the tie and gets us universal health care, universal basic income. We're getting our checks, $10,000 checks every year. Nah, print that shit. Nah, we need that money. Print that shit up. And ranked choice. We're going to get real democracy. Ranked choice voting is coming. Damn. Kamala Harris fucking for the win. Even that Michael Bennett, hey, did you forgive student loan debt? No, you didn't, did you? What the fuck you assholes do? National Democrats, what the fuck y'all do? Why don't y'all take a page out of Jared Polis? Take a look at Brazil. Chile. Excuse me. Let me get off my soapbox here for a half a second. So they get no vote unless they're the tie-breaking vote. If they're equally divided. So that could be 50-50, that could be 49-49. That could be 30-30. The Senate shall choose their other officers and also a president pro tempore in the absence of the vice president, or when he shall exercise the office of president of the United States. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. Oath or affirmation. When the president of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside. And no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Judging in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States, but the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. Section 4. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except as to the places of choosing senators. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall be on the first Monday in December, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Section 5. Each house shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business, but a smaller number may adjourn from day to day and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as each house may provide. Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. Each house shall keep a journal of its proceedings and from time to time publish the same, except in such parts as may in their judgment require secrecy. And the yeas and nays of the members of either house on any question shall, at the desire of 1/5 of those present, be entered on the journal. Neither house during the session of Congress shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the two houses shall be sitting. Section 6. The senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall, in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. No senator or representative shall during the time for which he was elected be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States which shall have been created, or the emoluments whereof shall have been increased during such time, and no person holding any office under the United States shall be a member of either house during his continuance in office. Section 7. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on other bills. Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it becomes a law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approve, he shall sign it, but if not, he shall return it with his objections to that House in which it shall have originated, who shall enter the objections at large on their journal and proceed to reconsider it. If after such reconsideration 2/3 of that House shall agree to pass the bill, It shall be sent together with the objections to the other house, by which it shall likewise be reconsidered, and if approved by 2/3 of that house, it shall become a law. But in all such cases, the votes of both houses shall be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the persons voting for and against the bill shall be entered on the journal of each house respectively. If any bill shall not be returned by the president within 10 days, Sundays excepted, after it shall have been presented to him, the same shall be a law in like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress, by their adjournment, prevent its return, in which case it shall not be a law. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and House of Representatives may be necessary, except on the question of adjournment, shall be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives, according to the rules and limitations prescribed in the case of a bill. Section 8. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States, to borrow money on the credit of the United States, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states, and with the Indian tribes, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization, and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States, to coin money, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States, to establish post offices and post roads, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to the respective writings and discoveries, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to define and punish piracies and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations, to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water, to raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years, to provide and maintain a navy, to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces, to provide for calling forth a militia, to execute the laws of the Union, suppressing insurrections and repel invasions, to provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square as may by cession of particular states in the acceptance of Congress become the seat of the government of the United States, and to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be, for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings, and to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers, and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States, or in any department or officer thereof. Section 9. The migration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1808. Oh, fuck. That's the fugitive slave clause right there. That's disgusting. That's awful. We gotta just scratch that shit out. Fuck that bullshit. Fucking Article 1, Section 9 can lick my fucking whatever. Just get it out of my Constitution. Tax or duty imposed on importation not exceeding $10 per person. You have to do it. Okay, you can charge a tax, but just charge $10. Fucking George Washington. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. No capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless in proportion to the census or enumeration herein before directed to be taken. No tax or duty shall be laid on articles exported from any state. No preference shall be given by any regulation of commerce or revenue to the ports of one state over those of another, nor shall vessels bound to or from one state be obliged to enter, clear, or pay duties in another. No money shall be drawn from the treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law, and a regular statement and account of the receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States. No person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under the United States shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept any present or any emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. No presents, no emoluments, office, or title. Section 10. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. No state shall, without the consent of the Congress, lay any impost or duties on imports or exports except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws. And the net produce of all duties and imposts laid by any state on imports or exports shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States, and all such laws shall be subject to the revision and control of the Congress. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power, or engage in war, unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power, or engage in war unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. Article 2, Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and, together with the Vice President, chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled to in Congress, but no senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States of America shall be appointed an elector. Here's in brackets, none of this is law. Changed by the 12th Amendment. But I'm going to read it because it's still the Constitution, is it not? But none of this is law. The electors, because it was changed by the 12th Amendment, the electors shall meet in their respective states, vote by ballot for 2 persons, of whom one at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. And they shall make a list of all the persons voted for and of the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit, sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the President, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if there be more than one who have such majority, and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose by ballot one of them for president. And if no person have a majority, then from the 5 highest on the list, the said House shall in like manner choose the president, but in choosing the president, the votes shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. In every case, after the choice of the president, the person having the greatest number of votes of the electors shall be the vice president, but if there should remain 2 or more who have equal votes, the Senate shall choose. They spelled choose, C-H-U-S-E. They misspelled choose, C-H-U-S-E. From them by ballot the vice president. From them by ballot the vice president. The Congress may determine the time of choosing the electors and the day on which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. No person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of the presidency. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident within the United States. Not a citizen, just a resident. How long you been here? A resident or a citizen? Nah, just a resident. 14 years. Are you 35, 36? Well, get the hell in there. Here's more crap law. These laws, this Constitution, part of the Constitution is changed by the 25th Amendment. In case of the removal of the president from office or of his death, resignation, or inability to discharge the powers and duties of the said office, the same shall devolve on the vice president. The Congress may by law provide for the case of removal, death, resignation, or inability, both of the president, vice president, declaring what officer shall then act as president, and such officers shall act accordingly until the disability be removed or a president shall be elected. The president. All right, we're back on track. This is good law here. The president shall at stated times receive for his services a compensation which shall neither be increased nor diminished during the period for which he shall have been elected, and he shall not receive within that period any other emolument from the United States or any of them. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath or affirmation: I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Section 2. The President shall be the Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States, and of the militia of the several states when called into the actual service of the United States. Wow! So these assholes that try to form these militias saying they're outside the United States, when the President says, hey, militia, we need you. If that militia doesn't comply with the president, that's an illegal militia. When called into the actual service of the U.S., he may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to the duties of the respective offices, and he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. Except in cases of impeachment. You cannot pardon yourself. He shall have power, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, to make treaties, provided 2/3 of the senators present concur, and he shall nominate, and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law. But the Congress may by law vest the appointment of such inferior officers as they think proper, and the President alone in the courts of law or in the heads of departments. The President shall have power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during the recess of the Senate by granting commissions which shall expire at the end of their next session. Section 3. The President shall from time to time give to the Congress information of the state of the Union, and recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. He may, on extraordinary occasions, convene both houses or either of them, and in case of disagreement between them with respect to the time of adjournment, he may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper. He shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed and shall commission all the officers of the United States. Section 4. The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Coming up next, Article 3, the power of the judiciary.